and welcome. I always get a little bit giggly before we start, to be fair, because I'm always excited about the conversation. So, hi, and welcome to another episode of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed, the Mind Management Mentors podcast. My name's Cuddy Cudworth, the UK's leading mind management coach, self-titled, Louise, self-titled. I made that title up. It's an identity for me to keep reaching until I actually am the UK's leading mind management coach. So
I like
welcome. I know it's a great way of doing it. There'll be a lot of people saying he's not the UK's leader. I'm like, well, technically, there's only three other mind management coaches in the UK, and I imagine you'd be better, some better than the other two. So that's it. That's the only reason. So welcome to welcome to the podcast. We're truly international at this moment in time. Dialing in all the way from Australia. Thank you very much for sharing some special time with us. So Louise. As if you were on Blind Dates, I'm sure you'll remember that game show. You'll probably remember the Cat Deely version, not the Cilla Black version. But as if you're on Blind Date, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
so I'm Louise Culyer. I am a confidence coach, transformation coach. I help people build their confidence, self-belief, help them lose weight, gain weight, reorganize their whole life, like literally upskill their whole life. From Staffordshire. I've already said that. Yeah,
No,
I'm from Staff.
that was before we got into the podcast. That was the 2 minute prep before we go live.
From Staffordshire, but at the moment I am currently traveling. So I've just done a few months in Thailand. I've just done 2 months in Australia, where I still am now. And I'm just working my way around the world, basically helping people.
Fantastic. Where's the nicest place you've been? The memory that's like that's the place I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
Anywhere that has a beach, I literally love the beach. I love the beaches in Australia. I love the beaches in Thailand. I love the beaches everywhere I go. So yeah, I just love the beach.
To be fair, Scotland, which is where I am, I live on the beach, a little place called Leven, and Scotland genuinely has. So I used to work on cruise ships. So I've traveled
Okay.
the world on a cruise ship. Luckily, not roughed it in any way whatsoever, but been to Thailand, Australia, and I have to say Scotland's got some of the nicest beaches. So when you get back into the UK, spend a couple of days in Scotland going around the 500, you'll actually see some really stunning but cold beaches. They are very cold, in all fairness.
Yeah, I prefer warm.
So the reason we're going to be chatting today, and I think it's going to be a really powerful conversation, is when we meet life coaches and we see their advertisements, and there's always this story of greatness, of success, and I don't want to talk about the success. That's not the point of any of this. The reason of the Mind Management Mentors podcast is to talk about the tipping point and the dark side of life that
Yeah.
we can travel from to get back to absolutely upskill our own lives. And you mentioned something before we came onto the podcast. I became the coach that I needed to be.
Yeah.
And when we talk about that story and the journey to where traveling the world and the beaches, everybody likes to talk about the beaches and the traveling the world, and I've done this, but it's really skimmed over of the places that we've been that's been absolutely shite, to be fair. So if we may, can we talk about the journey of Louise to getting on a beach in Thailand, going, do you know what? I made this happen. All right. I don't want to
Yeah.
know about the beach in Thailand. They're lovely. But I want the hustle. I want the bustle. I want the homelessness. I want the dirt is what we want for this podcast.
So basically just filling up that. Okay, no, that's fine. So it was growing up, the whole time growing up, I didn't know who I was. I was mixed race. I didn't feel like a part of the family, like a lot of abuse, trauma, and all of them things growing up. So this just followed me through life. And so it all stems from childhood, but it did follow through. And then it just got to the point where even though I grew, I had a great career, I got married, I had that perfect life that everyone thought I had. I'd carried that trauma and stuff through adulthood to the point where I just broke and I literally lost everything, like my mum, my dad, my brother, I walked away from my husband, my dog, my businesses, my house, absolutely everything just before lockdown. And I was very mentally unwell. And I literally, it was just before we went into COVID. I didn't have my business, so I couldn't get a job or anything like that. And I was literally homeless. So I lost absolutely everything all at the same time. And I was also pregnant at the time. So doing overdoses and stuff, I actually lost a baby at the same time as that. So like everything that literally I was gone through whole of my whole life, not knowing who I was. And then all of a sudden I lost everything at one time. I was in and out of hospital, not having a clue who I am, not wanting to be here. And that's when I had to go. It's the first time in my life where I had to like look after myself, like if I wanted to. And it took a very long time to actually want to do that. And that's where it started, the journey of bringing myself back up.
So you've said a lot, but you've only skimmed. So let's get, as we say, let's brass tacks it. Let's really right. So let's go way back. I'm not a therapist, by the way, but we're going to go way back. I know you're fine with this.
Okay.
You've skimmed over the abuse, you've skimmed over the trauma, and you mentioned mentally unwell. Now,
Mhm.
what we always want from the podcast is for someone to go, "Oh shit, that's what I'm feeling. That's where I am. Oh, there is a way out." So, as a child, mixed race, what popped up for you in life for you to go, "This is not me. I don't know who I am." Talk about, if it's okay, can you talk about that?
From a mixed race point of view, it was like, and I don't know how to actually word it without saying racist because I'm definitely not, but like the white people, like the lighter people, like white British white people, like, but you're not white, and they would call me packies, niggers, all of these things, and they would put me down. Black people, like half of my family, like they would be like, but you're not fully black. Like, what are you? So like, I never knew who I actually was. I always wanted to either be fully white or fully black,
Yeah.
because I didn't fit in anywhere. And again, at home, I didn't fit in anywhere. So it gives you that identity. I don't know who I am just straight away, just from being mixed race. It was like, I'd rather be just black or I'd rather be just white. And because I was from a predominantly white area, I'd never felt accepted. So like as I was younger, I always wanted to straighten my hair. I like all my friends would be putting like fake tan on, and I would avoid that. I don't want that. So it was like a shying away of who I actually was, and that was from a very young age. And that's just on the mixed race side. And even when like I went into the army, as soon as I left school, they'd go around the room and go white, 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 olive. So then I was like, oh my god, I don't fit in here either. I didn't fit in at school because I was like pretty much one like mixed race. I didn't fit in there. I've gone in the army and they've just literally just gone white, 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 olive. So I was just like straight away in my head was like, I don't fit in here. Where do I? Who like? What am I? Like, and it was really confusing. And then with that, then I actually married a guy from Mauritius, and so obviously that's the Asian culture. And they were like, "Well, you're not like I wasn't a part of that. So I'm not black, I'm not white, I wasn't Asian." I was like, "What am I?" So that just followed me around. That's just the mixed race side of not knowing who I was, just like my color and stuff. It took a while to actually be comfortable in my own skin in that way. That's the mixed race side of things.
Yeah. So I'm listening to this, and there's going to be it's that identities are powerful. I know you've gone through life coaching and NLP, and when we deep dive identity, it's actually one of the strongest driving forces of not knowing who we are. The second we do realize who we are, it's like the whole world's opened up and go, oh, I can be me. But as a
Yeah.
teenager growing up, I can understand talk about identity so much for people when we're working with them, and it's one of those hard questions. We don't know who am I. I
Yeah, people identity, it's like I'm either a wife, a mother, a teacher, this, a gym owner, a PT or something. But if you took that away, who actually are you? And I don't think many people know that. And it wasn't until I actually stopped being a wife, stopped being a daughter, a sister, a friend, and all of that. And I was literally isolated by myself. I was just like, now what? Like, I had no clue who I was. I had no identity apart from all of them labels that I'd done throughout my whole life. And then it was like a case of, okay, yeah.
so can I ask a question, Louise? Who are you?
Louise Culyer. I am literally peaceful. I am somebody that just literally just, I don't even know how to explain it. My identity is just like giving out energy to other people and helping people teaching people how to actually be within without looking exterior from like exterior places. Like you don't, what are you without being a mom, without doing these things? What I am somebody who can be the same person no matter where I am in the world. I am somebody that can be the same person no matter what's around me, being isolated, being in a different like in a different area. I am just somebody that can just be rather than just being having to have that label of I have to be in a relationship, I have to have this, I have to have that. So it's a different things. I am all them things. I still am a PT. I still am the things, but I am still just me, and that comes first. And I don't think I've ever. It's hard to explain because you just are. Like
I think no, I don't. No, I love it. It's for anybody watching the podcast, they're going to be like, I always ask them, who are you? When the questions, who are you? I think people don't know how to answer it, and it's somebody had me on their podcast and went, all right, Cuddy, who are you? I went, I'm Cuddy. That's all I need to be. I'm
yeah,
energetic and kind and trustworthy. That's it.
yeah,
They went, no, no, no. I'm like, no, that is it. That's why when I step into a room and someone says, oh, you're this, and this, I'm like, okay, that's your perception of me. That's not who I am. And we only need to be anchored to actually who we are. And on some
yeah,
days I'm good and some days I'm bad and I'm all right with that. It is a powerful concept. It's triggering for people, right? Louise, it's triggering for people because they're like, what an arrogant little shit. I'm like, no, 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 that's your shit, not my shit. Once we start knowing who we are, we become very calm and glowing, if you like. So that's a really powerful concept and touching on identity for anybody, especially if. So I always ask, because we're not even getting into the abuse and the trauma yet, of which we'll talk about a little bit. Um, what was your internal conversation? I think people don't talk about the monkey mind enough, and the internal conversation, especially teenagers growing up, they're scared to talk about the internal conversation. When I do coaching and training as a business, most of it is around the internal conversation, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I do that." I'm like, "Yeah, we all do. It's perfectly normal." Oh, so I'm not going mental. No, you're not. Perfect. So for Louise growing up, what was Louise's internal conversation? The conversation that she didn't say out loud.
is different in different places. So say at school it would be everyone was watching me, what am I doing wrong? It would be everything was my fault. It would be I'd be nervous. I'd be like thinking everybody's watching what I'm doing. Am I saying things wrong? I just recently found out I'm autistic, ADHD, and dyslexic. So growing up, I knew there was something different with me, but I never knew what. And so like I always had that like I'm so different, I'm strange, I'm this and that. Everyone can see what I'm doing. And I used to sweat so much to the point I used to sweat at speaking to more than two people at a time. So I'm inside of like everyone's staring, everyone's judging me, everyone's like, I'm gonna do this wrong. What have I said? And every time I'd left somewhere, I'd overthink, like, have I said this right? What are they thinking now? Like it was just constantly. And then it would be like a case of why am I like if somebody said something nice to me, I would literally be like, why are they saying that? I wouldn't take the compliment. I'd be like, but why? Like it was just like constantly like hating on me all the time.
Yeah, it's the internal conversation, loud and poisonous and extremely destructive, isn't it? It's such a destructive thing. So moving forward, we go into the abuse and trauma, and you don't have to go into too much detail, but what was what was Louise's feelings and after the fact? How did you feel? How did you talk? How did you what was going on for Louise so that somebody else can watch this and go, "Oh, that's where I am."
I personally, growing up, I thought it was my normal. I literally thought it more, so I didn't know anything. And it was only when friends fell out with me because or people used to pick being treated all my home life. And I thought it was something wrong with them. Like, why would you be saying that? So, because when you're raised and it, you don't seem different, I thought it was normal. So, I thought this was just life. It was only when outside people were telling me it was different. Um, And I actually fell out with quite a few people for saying that, because obviously I'm going to stick up for like my parents and stuff like that, because that's who I've always known. And then it was only when I actually grew up that I realized it was actually really wrong. But even though as a child I knew it was wrong, like subconsciously I knew it was wrong, I always felt bad. I knew it was kind of like, but I blamed myself for it. Like my mum being very poorly and doing things to me and stuff. I blamed me, like, what have I done? And I practically brought my brother up from a very early age. Like, so there's quite a lot of stuff that went on, but I actually blame myself, because that's what my mum told me. Like, I have done this because of you are here. So when you're being told by your superior, then it's your fault. You're going to believe that. So I actually went on with life believing it was all my fault. So yeah, like when your parents, I had a job at the age of 11 in a pub, because they said, well, we didn't get paid for having you, you know. So I just felt like a burden from a very young age. I felt bad for my younger brother. I took on the mom role to the point where he didn't even know who his mom was. He actually called me mom at sometimes. They sent us to places like at weekends, and I remember them. My one of my nans actually drowned my brother, tried to drown him, and then I used to try to save him, but then I got in trouble for letting that happen, even though I was still a child. And then I would then get like abuse from my own parents for letting these things happen, but I was still a child. So it's not the case I was still getting like mentally abused, physically abused. Like, they tried, you know, like the big back TVs, tried to throw it in my head. They got a pillow to like put over my head and stuff like this, because it was my fault. So like, number one, the person I'm caring for, my little brother who had everything, like I tried to make sure he was okay. That was my fault. They were doing that to him, but then I then got abused for like letting that happen. And then little thing, even if I was just looking in the wrong direction while someone spoke to me, I would literally, I remember getting thrown out of the house just for like looking in the wrong direction, like absolutely like the tiniest of things. Like, there was times when my mom was just like, well, I did actually want to kill myself, but I can't because you're here and stuff. At least you've got a mom, so you should just take me as I am. And just little things like that. Everything was just literally on top of me. And like, I thought that was normal. And then it was, as a case, as I got older and I started to go out to like my friends' houses and stuff, and I was like, hold on a second, like, how come like this isn't happening here? Like, I don't understand. And then I used to go like to school and ask certain questions, like, what's rape, what's this, what's that. They used to send me to, like, my mom got sexually abused as a child, but then she sent me that they wasn't allowed, they told me that, but then they still sent me to that place as a child. If you know they did that to you, why would you send me there? Like, is that because I let that happen to my brother? Is it because you don't like me? She actually told me much she didn't love me as much as my brother because X, Y, Z. So like, there was a lot of things, because all of that was my fault apparently. Like, I grew up thinking everything was my fault and I didn't deserve it. I let that happen to my brother. I let my mom feel like this. Every time I got pocket money, I'd run to town, buy my mom something. I was like a massive giver, people pleasing. Just, I knew when I'd go home what type of energy was going to be in at home. So like, as you can imagine, that's, you pick up traits, you pick up your habits, and then habits are what you take in through life. So that's what happened. And I was just like, it just came so much to the point of still happening through life, to the point where when my ex-husband met my parents, were like, I don't know what you're talking about. To the year after was getting married and whatever. And he was like, he found out, he's seen what they were like, and he actually sat there. He didn't sleep properly for 2 weeks. He was like, I can't marry you. I can't marry into that. Like, it was like really bad. And I had to, yeah. So it's something that followed me throughout my whole life. To the point it literally broke me, because I blamed myself for absolutely everything, to the point where my younger brother still doesn't know the half of it, because I just haven't been able to tell him, and I wasn't allowed to tell him as such. So yeah, it's when you beat yourself up like that, and then you go into school and you're mixed race, and then you happen to pick your brother up, and then you have to do his homework. You got a job at the age of 11. Like, it's just all a lot. I think I was always in flight or fight mode. I never knew what peace was. So, and that was from the age of, as long as I can remember.
That, I mean, your nervous system was just completely on high alert all the time. Oh my God. Then the attachment style of, right, they've given me some money, I'll go and buy them, because it's that it's the havoc of love, isn't it? It's the lack of love, the wanting love, the needing love, the giving love. It's such, honestly, Louise, absolute shocking, absolute shocker. Do you know what? I'll
And
say this, and I don't think I've said this before on podcast, but people are cunts.
I do agree. Like, and then the the one that hurts me the most, my mom, yeah, obviously, like her perception was everything, but like indifferent. But then my father, like when I would tell him, he would see all this happening, but his actual response, like there's nothing wrong with my dad. He worked a lot to like, because my mom wasn't working, but his response was, well, she's your mom, you know what she's like. And I was like, it doesn't, there's still a right and a wrong. Like you can't just let that happen. So that I think that hurts as well. So like even my support, I had no support from my child growing up, and I think that followed me throughout everything. So yeah, I think
Louise,
you mentioned
I know it's horrible, and I probably shouldn't ask this question, but you should never ask a lady her age. But actually, how old are you, Louise, if you don't mind my asking?
35 and 36 this year.
Right. Okay. I know we talked about nearly 15. You're a lot younger. So when you tell these stories, there's now a smile on your face.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's I'm guessing you didn't have a smile on your face for many, many years, or it was a fake smile.
yeah.
But
Now it's kind of I'm not glad it happened. I'm not glad that anything. I don't want. I made a promise to myself when I was 13 years old. I will never make anybody feel the way that I was feeling at that point. And I've kind of stuck to the point where I did it too much. But now I've learned over time I can't make anybody feel like that. I'm not in purposefully, but I've got to make sure I'm okay first. And now it's like I'm not happy it happened, but I am so I wouldn't be who I am right now. I wouldn't be so not intelligent, but like intuitive. I wouldn't be doing the job. I wouldn't be able to help people as well as I do now if I didn't have all of that. Like, yes, I've done the courses, I've got the qualifications, but that doesn't even touch the life experience and what you've had to deal with and how you've had to overcome it. You resonate so much more with your clients. So it's not the fact I enjoyed the time because it was vile, but like I'm happy because I love who I am right now. Like I couldn't be any prouder of that person who that younger child was to what she's doing right now. So yeah, I still get the emotions sometimes, like on Christmases and like I don't have family and my birthdays, like it still overcomes, but I've got the tools and I know how to, and I'm still happy. Like I would never go backwards. So yeah, as a whole, I am very happy. So don't know how to explain. I'm happy it happened.
it's
It sounds
it
gross, but I am.
well, you see, it's always perspective, isn't it? It's the suffering that is atrocious that makes us stronger, wiser, and more understanding.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody watching this might be going, "My God, what a horrendous life you've had. That is trauma." But she's smiling. She's on the beaches in Thailand and Australia. Absolutely fantastic. Somebody topical right now, because I think there's a relevance to it, is like with the Beckham son, who's had
Yeah.
a very nice life, but still has an experience of this shit was wrong. Because it's still, I mean, I don't judge, to be fair. I see you see all the comments on social media and what people have done for that you've not had any privilege, and look at you smiling now all the way in and living the life that you have. Whereas the Beckhams have had the privilege, but they've still gone through an experience. But it's always perspective of how we were made to feel, isn't it? It's always going to be a perspective of how we were made to feel. And that's the power of story, isn't it? The power of story that we create. So for you, Louise, what was you've been homeless, you've been a size you said a size 25. Is that a UK size 25?
Size 24.
24. That's bigger than me. That is bigger than me, to be fair. I'm probably a size 20 female. So 24 is that's very well done.
Yeah, I'm a size 10 now, healthily, but like growing up, this is another thing. The only way I could cope with it was through food. So I had a binge eating disorder. I didn't eat at all to the point I was very skinny. I would hide food. I would like eat food in discreet. Like my relationship with food was the only way that I had an outlet from a very young age. Like I used to steal food in the night. Like I used to get up in the middle of the night and just take food, like Christmas presents and stuff. Or they would give me packed lunches or something like that, and I would literally just hide it. You'd go into my bedroom and there'd be just like wardrobes full of food that I hadn't eaten that were going moldy and stuff. Like that was my only outlet on my emotions, was I would just self-sabotage by food from a very, I'd say from primary school. That's what I used to do. And so you can like that was my only comfort, and it's the only thing I could control. So that followed me again through life. And it's every single time, mentally or internally, I go a bit wobbly, I would turn straight to food. It was either I wouldn't eat at all, or I would eat excessively, to the point I was very unhealthy. So I was 24. They told me I needed to have a hysterectomy at the age of 27. I was just like, I lost my periods. I know that's too much information, but like my
No,
food
it's
was so
fine. You can share
extreme.
everything. No, people need to know. No, people need to know.
Yeah, my food was so extreme to the point where I did lose my periods. I was going to have like a hysterectomy because I've got PCOS and endometriosis, and the symptoms were they were so very bad, and to the point where that's where you could see every time internally I was getting bad, I'd turn to food. And one of them I just wouldn't eat, or I'd eat too much. Either one, it depended. And that's how I managed it. And so this has been the healthiest I've been in years. I'd say sometimes it's like an addict though. Like it's kind of, if you're used to doing that habit. So even when I went traveling, like I just rented everything. I've been living out of a suitcase since June, July. Some of my habits came back, and I was just like, hold on a second, because I've just been taken out and I'm in the middle of the world by myself. And you could see some of them. So I've had to literally, even when I'm traveling, just like, okay, yeah, no, you are still safe. It's fine. And then habits have come back. So it is a case of like, whatever you grew up with as a child, you kind of do throughout your whole life. And that was my habit with food, because that's the only way I managed to express myself. And it's kind of an attention thing as well. I remember when I lost a significant amount of weight through not eating, I got attention, not good attention, it was just some sort of attention on me.
Validation. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're losing weight. I only bought you them trousers last week. How do you think that makes me feel? Like, and it was kind of like as a child, I used to get something from that. Or like they would find those spoons, food, and then I don't know. That's the way. That's the only way I used to express, and yeah, that's why.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, I mean, still telling the story with a smile on your face, and looking back, and you've seen those triggers, you've had the compulsion and all those kind of things. So, what was, when we go on that journey of NLP, life coaching, CBT, EMDR, brain spotting, whatever term for the modalities that we learn and use, what was the life changing moment through that journey that was like, oh shit, now I can deal with it? Or what was that moment? What was the modality? What was the coaching experience? What was it?
It was the smallest of things. I remember I actually shared a rented house, like in a loft somewhere, this moldy room, and I didn't then leave the house for like 3, 4 months. Like I was really that, like after that, I just didn't leave the house. But I just remember one of my friends used to constantly message me saying, get up and do something, get up and have a wash, get up and do it. And I was like, no, no, no. But one day I literally listened to him, and I literally got up, had a wash and brushed my teeth, and I felt good for the first time in like, I can't remember when. And that was weird because I've never felt good for myself, except for when I was doing something for somebody else. And I was just like, hold on a second. Then I started doing like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of working out in that like loft room by myself. And the energy I was getting, it was just like that mind to muscle to myself. And then I was just like, hold on, but I've never felt there's something in me that like without everything. And this is just where it started. And then I first went out for a walk, like, and literally it was like the first time it's like I was learning to walk again. Like the trees were brand new. It's just like the whole new, like, I just like rebirth. Like, and I was just like, hold on, there can be a life without having all of that just by myself. From then, it just literally just the tiniest, that you didn't have to like give me anything significant. It was literally the smallest of things. And I just built from there. And I just fell in love with like, hold on a second, I actually feel good without having all of that. And I literally started studying PT, and I started to study, and I just made myself better through acts of doing things for myself. Like, and that's how it actually started. And my relationship with myself, it was very hard. I went and had a spiritual life coach, I had a PT, I had every single coach. So like all them coaches, I just turned into all them coaches in one, because I literally turned everything around. Like everything that I ignored everything that was going on around me, and I literally just focused on it. I actually feel good when I'm doing 10 minutes of walking, 10 minutes of this, washing my face. Like, I know that sounds gratty, but when you're in the low slumps, you don't want to wash,
Depression. Yeah.
you don't want to do that. And I didn't do it for a long period of time, and just that there, I was just like, okay, I actually feel really good. So yeah, it was a case of ignoring what had happened, not ignoring it, but like focusing on what made me feel good. And then I was like, so why is it like this? Why do I feel brand new? Why like, and then the inquisitiveness of that, I literally went through and I made it bigger and more. And I was like, do you know what? If I can make 5 people in the world feel the way I feel now after how I was just feeling, like that would be absolutely everything. And I just didn't stop. And that's when I've literally done years and years and years and been helping people since.
That is the yes, that's extremely powerful when it's not, and it's not altruistic, isn't it? It isn't. You know, there's always this word of altruism of like just doing nice things to be nice. No, it does make us feel good that when we've turned our harrowing story into, and by the way, your harrowing story is a hell of a lot more harrowing than mine, to be fair. But when you help people go from where you were to where they can be, and you're part of that catalyst and that change, there is there's a powerful reasoning purpose in that, isn't there? To be fair,
Yeah.
there's a powerful reasoning purpose.
I was looking at my purpose, like the bigger picture of the whole entire life. And then I was looking at, okay, yeah, I'm losing weight, but how am I not feel like the thoughts I was having in when I'm taking overdoses and I'm sicking out black stuff because I've tried like to the next minute feeling like I'm actually on top of the world. How is my brain changing? Like if your thoughts can change, and it was like the habits, it's just like so like I've never been so like addicted to like knowing what was going on. Why is this changing inside of me? And it's just, yeah, it's just absolutely amazing how you can actually change no matter how hard it feels right now. You can change it. It's not going to happen overnight. That's a promise. You have to work hard and you've got to like kind of want it. But it can change, definitely.
You have the big dog inside you. That's what they say. You've got the big dog, the bite, the fight, the big dog. Oh, you've got a big dog inside you, the big fight. So now, you know, I did a podcast with somebody over drug addiction a few days ago. Which for anybody watching this, I hope you've had the chance to watch that podcast as well. Again, with Chase Taylor, and I think you've told the story of where you were. You've told the story of where you are. It kind of sounds like the biggest thing that you started doing is you started asking better questions.
Yeah.
And the second
Yeah.
we ask better questions, we get better answers.
Yeah.
And that's
But
a
from
powerful.
in the right places as well, though. You've always got to look at who you're asking and where you're asking. So if you're asking somebody that hasn't and their perception is bad, I wouldn't tend to ask them the questions. It has to come from within and like to the right sources. So the better questions, but from the right place.
Yeah.
If I had have asked my parents sort of question, I wouldn't have got the right answer. So it's about just knowing who to ask and where to ask and what to ask.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if it's your internet or internet, my internet started going a little bit iffy there. Right. So what I want to move into now is now you are in traveling the world. We'll not say where you are because you'll be moving around. How does your nervous system now feel? How does Louise now feel going into these new places? Is there any triggers? Is there any, or is Louise? Do you know what? I've got this shit. This is how I handle my shit on a daily basis now. Where is Louise now? Good days, bad days. When we think about the past, we smile, or we're like, I'm gonna have a tear about that today. Where's Louise now? That realistic story for people to go, I'm okay with the days that's gonna be shit. If you have those days, it's not for me to say that whether you have those days or not. So Louise, now you've done the work, spirituality, NLP, lost the weight, living the world, traveling the world. Louise, now tell me.
Um, it's different. I still have bad days. Everybody still have bad days. But I see bad days completely different. Now it's like, okay, what am I learning right now? Like you will get triggers, like traveling. I've been completely out of my comfort zone. I created a life for me where it was perfect. But like as soon as I've taken myself out, the nervous system has been like, okay, this is different. This is uncomfortable. So it's like a case of like, and then it's because it's uncomfortable, it brings that nervous system back up, and it's a case of managing that no matter where you are. So I wouldn't say I have perfect days all the time because that is not realistic. Like I have days where I know I have to step back
Yes.
because I know what's going to happen. Like I said, some of my food will sometimes go and be like, I watch that now. Okay, I know that when this happens, like something's internally, I have to go back in and I need to work on myself. So I can't say that like the feelings and the emotions will still pop up from time to time, but the difference is I'm aware of them. I know that they're not real and I know how to manage them. And I don't get I sound really weird, but I get excited that okay, what am I learning? Because every time you go through that bit, you learn something new and you evolve. So it's completely different now compared to whereas before I was just like, I don't want to be here, it's done. But now when it happens, okay, I'm like, yeah, this is uncomfortable, but this is teaching me something now. What do I need to know? And I would literally work on myself more than what I possibly was doing like the week before or something like that. And that's where it is now. So you still get the emotions, you still get, but you get it from a different awareness and being aware of watching what it is and just letting the feeling be rather than running from it, learning from it is two different things. So yeah, I still have bad days, but they are not as bad because I learn from them rather than running from them. So yeah.
Changing the meaning on a daily basis. Wow. This absolutely. And how long are you traveling for now, Louise? Because even I'm like, and I did apologize. I didn't know how we'd met, so I do ask a few people on LinkedIn. There must have been something on LinkedIn that I was like, she'd have a great story for the podcast. So congratulations to you, for you on that one, Louise. To be fair, so what's the future look like for Louise? We know what your past looks like. We know what your present is, but what's the future look like for Louise?
This is the thing I don't actually know because if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have never ever believed that I would be where I am now. So like I've got such an open mindset, like the opportunities are endless. So like it's life could be absolutely anything. I know I've got the right path, but I think it's just going to be a lot bigger and helping more. I don't know how I'm going to do it. That's my purpose. So I don't actually know. I'm just excited for it. Like you don't need to know everything, right?
I
But I
love
just know
it.
that I don't actually know. I don't even know I'm going to be next month. I do know I want to have a stable place, and then but I want to be able to just be able to go wherever I want and just do what I need to be. Like that's what all I know. But that can be absolutely anything. Like I don't actually know what comes.
Louise, Scotland's lovely. By the way, if you like beaches, Scotland is lovely. I always tell everyone they should move to Scotland, not Leven or wherever, or Methil or wherever. Scotland is the nicest place in the world, and I've traveled the world, but there's just something with it. When you travel over the Forth Road Bridge, it's probably because of my wife, but I just always get this sense of, oh, I'm home. This is
Yeah.
Scotland's beautiful. It's just stunning. But that's
Yeah.
your choice, Louise. Louise, this has been a fantastic chat, a lovely chat.
Thank
Is there
you. Thanks for
anything
having
you want to share? I know. Thank you. By the way, I know that you. I know it's late in the day for you. I know that you're down in Australia. Is there anything you want to share right now as the mic drop moment for Louise Culyer to go, look, if you do this, this changes?
Yeah, if you're feeling in a bad place right now, know it's only just temporary. Like every single feeling is temporary, love, joy, happiness, but you are not labeled by them emotions. So if you're feeling any type of way, just like use it for something positive and just the best thing that you can ever do right now is just put into yourself. That is the first thing you need to do. Okay, yeah, I'm feeling a bit crap right now. Okay, how can you can make yourself feel instantly better within a heartbeat if you choose to do it. That is just having a wash, going out for a 6 minute walk, choosing to just literally, okay, purchase something like you can always make yourself feel better because it's always temporary.
It's the power of choice, isn't it? The power
Yeah,
of
and just
choice.
being aware that like that. Like I said, I was on the radio last week and I said, like, you like you'll have feelings. You'll have the feeling of being in love, having joy, having excitement. You don't go, I am love, I am joy, I am excited, but you have that, like, as soon as you're diagnosed with depression, I am depressed. You put that label, your identity is being depressed, and then you believe it, your beliefs come true, and you sit in that depression for even longer. So it's just like a case of not identifying with your feelings, just know they come and go. You may experience the feeling of depression for a long period of time, but it's not you, and it does pass. You've got to remember it's just passing. It's a passing moment, and don't attach to the thought of it.
I want open and transparency right now, Louise, from you. I want this is I have genuinely I have actually got a toxic trait. I have. And I'm gonna be open and honest. When somebody says to me, "Oh, I have depression," I'm like, no, had. I always automatically go, had. But no, I have depression. I'm like, no, it's not yours to own. It's just an emotional state. If you had depression, what would change? Oh, well, I wouldn't have it. Perfect. So what are my toxic traits? Do you have a toxic trait there when someone comes to you and says this whatever it is? Does Louise have a toxic trait and go straight into that coaching in that moment, or do you just leave and be and walk on and enjoy your beach? Be honest.
It it depends on who it is. If it's the one that I'm close with, if it's somebody that fully believes it and like that, then sometimes it's too harsh to say it. And if once you believe it, like you can talk them. Like I don't think it's a safe space. But if it's somebody I know and they're like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm like, are you really? Like, or are you just feeling a little bit sad right now? You just got that feeling, like, oh, like that. But if it's it depends on who it is, like, because sometimes it can be a touchy subject.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. No, I've lost friends because of it. I no, I have. By the way, I used to be really bad at boundaries, but now I'm like, no, I just don't want to sit with them. No,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to sit with them. I don't want to sit with that. I know what it's like. I've tried empathy and I've tried nice, but at the end of the day, it's their shit. It's not my shit. My choice is to walk away. So look, that was an open, honest conversation about a little bit about Cuddy there as well. Look, it's been a pleasure, Louise. Thank you so much. And it'll be coming out in about 6 weeks' time anyway, middle of March. The podcast goes live. It's been an absolute pleasure, Louise. I'm sure you've got loads of parties and loads of nice things to do in Australia. And thank you very much for being a guest on the Mind Management Mentors podcast. Thank you very much. I much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. Get back in contact when you get back into the UK. I love a little bit of networking and all those kind of things and keeping in contact with the people that's on the podcast because I think it's a powerful part of the journey. But thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in to this one. If you've enjoyed the content, as always, you've enjoyed the stories and realized, you know what, where we are, there is a solution if we choose to look for the solution. It's not easy, never comfortable, but it is possible. And if there's ever a shining example of possibilities, this is the lady that really has shown you the way. Louise Culyer, it's been a pleasure having you on the Mind Management Mentors podcast. And for everybody watching, remember, as always, big love from Cuddy. And always remember, if it's in the mind, it can be managed. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Mind Management Mentors podcast.